we were sitting here watching Thandi drink, was positioned over here, and Tlalamba was all sprawled out off to the right of me, and not really paying too much attention to lapping up any water, just every now and then poking her tongue into it. So, as we walked in here, Senzo said he saw something run. He doesn't know what it was, so it could be a number of different things. Could have been a steenbok, could have been a deka, could have been Tlalamba. We don't know. We don't really know what's going on at the moment. So we're just being very cautious. We're being very quiet because it is very thick here. You saw as we were driving on through. We don't want to disturb anyone. However, Tlalamba has been taught to hide. So if we do stumble across Tlalamba, I reckon we'd walk right past her. I crept hiding away in a thicket. We know what she's like on her own with vehicles. I can't imagine that she'd want to have anything to do with a human on her own. So she will run and then tuck herself away in a thicket somewhere and, well, I don't know, I suppose hide away. So I'm just waiting for Herbie. Herbie wants us to be very quiet when we're walking through here, so we're just going to wait until we finish the segment to carry on. Now, Nandini, Thandi is going to try her best to hide her cub away, but unfortunately Tlalamba's got a mind of her own, and she will do whatever she wants to do, even though Mama said, you need to sit put, you need to stay where you are. But that's not always the case with children, as most of you will know if you do have children, how many times when you're in the shopping centre to tell your daughter or your son, you have to stay next to me when we walk, and the next minute you look around, they're gone. They've disappeared, you start to panic, you try and find them again. But of course, Thandi would have gone off and she would have done her own thing. So she's now told her youngster to stay. If that little one wants to survive, the best thing it's going to do is to try and conceal itself and not to move around too much, because the more it moves around, it starts to leave its scent around. If, say, a lion or another leopard comes through, he's going to become quite curious about the scent and what it is, and maybe try and track it down. So sometimes it is good to just stay where you are told. But then again, maybe Tlalamba realizes that there's an opportunity to run away and to get to another spot and put more and more ground between herself and, say, a hyena, Snoopy hyena, as they are, because they're busybodies, those things. They come through here, always poking their nose where it doesn't belong, and maybe she'll go, okay, I'm going to run and then I can go up a tree. Because remember, she's learned to climb trees now as well. So, very, very cool. Anyways, all this, I suppose, chat of cats has probably got you wanting to see one. But never fear, Brent has found Hosana.
Well, I can't take the credit. Aubrey and Taxon have found Hosana. We didn't find Tingana, but he is heading in the same direction of where Hosana is at the moment from the last tracks we saw. So there we go, the little prince, the little chief. And you will hear that there are some other vehicles around. And of course I said Aubrey and Tax are here from Djuma. Trying to get rid of all the dew that he's been walking through this morning. So just around camp this morning there have been two different leopards, well, Hosana and Tingana, and hopefully we'll get to see both of them before the end of the sunrise safari. Now, for some of you who might be a little bit new, we've been following him since he was a few hours old. We found him and his little sister when they were probably between 6 and 8 hours old in a den. Their mother was Kruger, who used to be the dominant female here. So he is particularly relaxed around people on foot or in the vehicle. So he is a very, very special leopard. And it's nice to see him this far to the west again. He's seemed to be avoiding these western sections due to Hukumuri, but Hukumuri hasn't been around for when did James see him last? A week, actually. He was last seen on Sunday last week. Hukumuri. So I wonder if he's being kept busy mating in the west or battling with battling with Anderson. There you go. You can see his little claw sticking out there while he's cleaning. So he's got his claws out, but popped back in. No, is it still there? No, it's still there. They're giving himself a good bath. It's very wet this morning, lots of dew, lots of mist. He keeps looking back to the area where we last saw Tingana's tracks. So maybe Tingana is on his way here. Now, I can't see how hungry he is just yet while he's lying down. Now, I agree with you, Sky. He is a mischievous fellow, and he is very handsome and sporty. And I wonder, as well, what mischief he'll be up to today. Cool day like this, he might keep moving for quite a bit longer than normal. Although, as we've noticed, a lot of the leopards here have no problem moving during even some of the hottest days. He's only February, so just over 2 years now. Oh, he's hungry. That answers that question. He is looking good, but he is definitely in need of a meal. Probably something bigger than a scrub hare, which seems to be what he's been eating the most of recently. Now, we get asked this question quite often, Ryan, and it depends on what you define eating as. So, a leopard could probably survive 10 to 14 days without food, but they never really do. So, they eat a lot of small stuff. I just mentioned scrub hares, squirrels. They'll even eat grasshoppers and termites if they're desperate enough. So, they go sometimes a long time between big meals. However, they are incredibly adaptable and are able to eat lots of different things: birds, eggs, catfish in drying pans. They are incredibly adaptable. And we've seen him eat monitor lizards, terrapins, tortoises. So it all depends on what's available. So they never really go longer than, I'd say, not even a day without eating, but it might be a lot of small things that might not give him that sort of fat belly we see after he's eaten a whole duiker or impala. Now, strange enough, on this very termite mound, the last leopard I saw sitting on top of this termite mound was a leopard that Hosana definitely needs to avoid, and that was the Hukamuri male. We're definitely going to spend the rest of our morning with him, and hopefully Tingana makes an appearance. We're going to play the patience game here. In the meantime, let's send you back to Ralph, who's sitting at Chitwa Waterhole.
Look at what we've got. Look at what we've got. I'm just going to go around to see. We have a leopard. I think it's Tlalamba. Oh, it's Thandi. Hang on, I can see now. I'm just going to look with my binoculars. We're on foot. We're probably about... Oh my goodness, this is so cool. It's Thandi. Sorry, it's Thandi. We're probably about... maybe less than 100 meters. No, not even. Maybe 80 meters away from this cat. Louise, you talking to me? Sorry, I'm getting all the comms, all the updates. I'm turning the radio down. Now, we think that obviously what Senzo must have seen earlier was most likely going to be Tlalamba. This is so cool. And like I said, just trying to sneak away and hide away from us. Now, this leopard has got its eyes focused on us and does not look very impressed. Not growling at the moment, but just looking towards us. Is it Thandi? This looks so big. Maybe they have a kill here. Do you think it also looks big, hey? I'm just gonna bend. I'm not gonna move too much. We don't want to move. I'm just lowering myself so I can see under the vegetation. Is this not a male? What can you guys see in final control? Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't know if this is Thandi. This is a very bulky leopard. I don't know who we've got here. It's very, very difficult. Sensor's just repositioning slightly just to get a better view. Yeah, that might be better for you. Hey, Sensor. I'm just going to creep over Sensor's shoulder very quickly. We obviously want to limit our movements here. We don't want to upset the cat. The cat's not going to move. It's going to watch us now because it's exceptionally thick. I don't know who this is. We know Thandi's got a very tattered left ear, which should be the ear that we are able to see. I don't know who this is. We have absolutely no idea which leopard this is. If you do know, and you can help us, hashtag Safari Live. I don't know if this is Thandi. This looks very big. Very, very big. I think this is a male. Just ducking a little bit more. No, that left ear doesn't look tattered enough. Like I said, this is very big and bulky. Louise, is anybody able to zoom in further on some of the screenshots? He keeps looking to our left. So it's a bit interesting what's going on here. If it is a male leopard and it's not Tingana, we don't really want to be in the area. We don't want to disturb that cub. We want it to stay put. I don't know who that is. I have absolutely no idea. The leopard obviously knows that we're here. This is virtually impossible for anybody to get into in a vehicle. We're only able to access this area by foot. We're just having a look now to see if any of you have figured out who on earth we've got. Is it Thandi? James, are you saying it is? So James Richard is saying it's definitely Thandi. She's like doubled in size since our last one. I wonder if she's eaten. And maybe that's why she looks so big. From here, perhaps it's just because we're on foot. And a leopard looks a lot bigger on foot than when you're in a car. But this is very cool. No, I mean, like, this is spectacular. I don't like to spend too much time with the animals on foot, especially if we know that there is a cub nearby. At least it's not a male. That makes me a lot happier. Definitely a lot happier. Well spotted, Sensor. Sensor spotted this leopard as we were walking. Herbie and I had our eyes on the ground trying to find tracks. This is almost exactly where we had her yesterday, where we lost her in the big drainage line. And then we decided to move out because we couldn't follow her anymore in the vehicle. So I don't know if there's a kill in here or not. I'm just trying to see if I've actually got any cell phone reception because I would like to drop a pin where I am. I'm going to do that very quickly while we're live so that everybody... I don't think Brent is going to be able to get in here, Louise. Maybe, but I don't know. Hey, it's quite hectic. I'll send the thing to Brent. Let me find him. I don't really have signal, and we don't have GPS on the bushwalk backpack, I don't think. Brent. Let me see if I can get it to work. Also with Brent, you never know what phone he's using. Let's try and see if it'll load. I might have to get out of here though. Here we go. Okay. Just checking. Yeah, she's talking at the moment. I'm just also watching very carefully. Her behavior is okay at the moment. We would never go any closer than this, ever. We've now found the leopard. We obviously would prefer... Yeah, Brent can try. Obviously, he's going to have to do a lot of bundu bashing to try and get in here. He won't be able to come the way that we are in. He can't come through this drainage line. He'll have to come from another direction. I don't really know. Really, really quite amazing to see a leopard on foot, though. Obviously, we're quite lucky in having... Hosana so close by, and he's very relaxed. Thandi's not quite as relaxed. She's fine at this distance. Thank you, James Richard, again for identifying. I think she's obviously unhappy with our presence because she's keeping an eye on us. Maybe she's told that cub to run away. She keeps looking to the left. told Brent that where he was driving in the drainage line yesterday, we've got all his tracks. The furthest that he went in the drainage, you'll know what I'm talking about. And Herbie's talking to him on the radio. He needs to come back in there. But I don't know how he's going to get to where Thandi is. This is crazy. Very, very cool. I think what we should do, though, now is, obviously she's looking at us. I think the cub has maybe run away. They might have a kill here. I think what we're going to do is just take a few steps back, just to show her that we are retreating. She's fine, but we don't want to hang around. We'll go up here and just sit and watch from a distance and then help and wait for Brent. Right, while we move away, I'm going to send you, I think, to Ralph, who's still having fun at Chitwa Dam.
Thanks, Taylor. Well, yes, we are having fun with these hippos and birds. And look at that lovely shot of an African fish eagle, one of the resident pair here. And that's a wonderful shot of it. Beautiful. It looks like it's got its wings down, a little bit wet at the moment, just trying to keep dry. It's a little bit like foggy rain. It's like that little half drizzle. But it's not really rain. It's almost just like real condensation, dewy type wetness. I think that's why he's just trying to keep his wings dry a little bit. And we're just hoping that he gives us a call. And looking out over the water, who knows, he might even do a bit of fishing for us. There are a lot of fish in this dam. Oh, let's watch him. Let's watch. Come on. I think he's flying across to the other one on the other side. I was getting excited there. There's another one just near to it. That's a wonderful shot, that as well, as he flew across. And there, a little bit of a view of the dam. There's the other one there. That one just, I think it's just preening. I was getting my hopes up that it had a fish in its talons, but it doesn't. So we've just changed position onto the other side of the Chitwa Dam, and it's just getting a different view of these hippos and a different pod on this side. And we've also spotted some of the different birds as well, but now that's disappeared too. And we've got some of the birds along the bank here. But it's a hive of activity in the water. It really is busy. There's a hamakop, and there's some of the Egyptian geese. I think you see those, the adult there on the left, and these are fledglings or older goslings that are now almost of age. Looks like a little three-banded plover moving in between them there. And there he is. They're also one of those little birds that love to run around on the edge of the water. And look at that. That's a nice family. She's done well. She's brought up quite a few goslings, that male and female. It's a nice little family of Egyptian geese. And as I say, hive of activity. In the background you can see the catfish that don't have fully fledged gills. So they need to come up quite regularly just to take little sips of air. And it's not only the hippos that are... Watch that hamakop. As he flies, look at all the fish that are obviously getting scared as he flies along. There are so many... And I think he's actually just zapping at a couple of them as he flies. Look at that. A hunting hamakop. I've never seen that in my life. I've seen them hunting frogs and so on, but look at all the fish. Has he landed now on a hippo, or is that on the mud? It looks like a hippo. Wow, there's also these hamakop are hippo riding hippies. It's like they should be having Harley Davidsons. Well, that's probably the Harley Davidson of the bush. We don't ride motorbikes, we ride hippos. I think, yeah, it's pretty impressive. Now, Nandini, I think that's exactly the reason why they're sitting on the top of the hippos, because they're chasing these fish. Look at this. Let's watch him. He's flitting along. As he flits along, he just puts his bill into the water every now and then, and he's actually hunting the fish. There's so many of them that why wouldn't you? Okay, there, I haven't seen him put his bill in. Look at this. I wanted to speak to the owner of Chitwa Dam, of Chitwa Lodge, and see if he'll allow me to come and do some fly fishing here, because I've never seen so many fish in a dam this size. Look at them. Wonderful. Now, of course, I would only practice catch and release, just with barbless hooks as well. And we'll maybe tag them if he allows me, and then we can start to see. Oh, what's that flying over there now? That's the fish eagle as well. And has he got something in his talons? And there he calls. He has indeed. I think he's got a small tilapia. And now we might see him start feeding on it. I wonder if he was actually... No, he wasn't sitting with one. We saw him fly across. I think we missed it while we were watching that hamakop hunting. We missed the fish eagle hunt. Yeah, I think it's going to start feeding on it now. Yep, look at that. See how he's trying to get rid of the scales? He just rubbed his foot along it. There we go. So they're hoping for a kill with the leopards. And well, we've got a kill here with the birds next to Chitwa Dam, so everybody's getting a bit of a feed. And with there being so many fish in the dam here, it looks for me to be quite easy pickings. So from a quiet start to the morning, as I say, we've been quite lucky in the end. Faisal, yes, fish eagles can be scavengers as well. Obviously with their size, they're pretty much like all the other predators. If they see a heron or something smaller with some prey, they could also, just fly down and chase them off it, and make them drop it. They're opportunists, and if they can get food by expending less energy, well, why wouldn't you, So obviously this one may have, I don't know. I didn't see it catch this fish, so it could well have stolen somebody else's, but I think let's stick with, because we didn't see it, let's say that he caught it off. But it is by all means possible. I've seen it before. Chasing, they watch a heron that's busy struggling to try and get a big fish down its gullet or its throat into the bill, and they'll just fly and chase the bird off and then steal it for themselves. And they don't only eat fish, they can eat other things as well. But here, I think with there being so much fish, they don't need to really bother with anything else. Sometimes you see them catch fish that are too big for them to fly off with, and they need to just try and get to the bank, and then they start feeding on it there. All sorts happening here at Chitwa Dam. You could be sitting in that lodge there on the front stoep, as we call it, the front porch, having a nice breakfast, looking out, watching this hive of activity. There he goes again. What's just in front? Look at that. Look at all the fish. Initially we thought it might just be the wind wafting off of its wings, but now we've realized that it's literally using that as a hunting technique, and using the hippos also as places to rest and hunt from, apart from the little branches around the water. Wow, these hamakops have really surprised me in that they can actively hunt fish like that. See, it's all down to resources, and through studies and research we sort of put animals into boxes, or this is what they normally hunt, this is what they normally do. I would say that these hamakop are predominantly hunting fish, whereas normally they are predominantly, or supposedly predominantly, frog hunters. And I think these ones, because of the resources, They've specialized in fish. Lots of calling. Often people say that a hamakop sounds like a monkey because of that can sound like a monkey sometimes. Let's see. Off he goes. Yeah, he's on the hunt again. See that? The water's also quite murky, so it must be quite difficult. It's obviously just by pure chance. Let's see when that bull goes down. He's been flying around the water so regularly that it's obviously hunting. And we did see it on the one flight where he was obviously catching little fish. Incredible. We've got all sorts happening. There's the saddle-billed stork. He's obviously come in because of these resources as well. And now the blacksmith lapwing, bombing him there. Hey, out you go. Move off. Hey. See, and it does irritate him quite. He's straight into the water, saying, "Oh, all right, I'm on my way." Let's see as he walks as well. Watch the fish moving in front of him. Oh, there we go. I don't know if you're as good as the hamakop, my man. You need to stick around and learn from them. Yeah, he needs to learn the local way. That's it. Whenever you go fishing, you always immediately go and watch and talk to the locals. Find out what's working best in that particular body of water. Right. Oh, hey. Yes, he's really just taking his chances now. Okay, everyone. Well, let's hope we see him get some fish here. But I'm not sure exactly what's happening with Brent, but he's got a leopard. I think we better go over to him.
Well, we have something better than a leopard. We have a leopard cub. Tlalamba. So, where Herbie and Taylor were, they could only see Thandi. We've lost sight of Thandi now. She's moved off a little bit. But we're with little Tlalamba. Thandi's in the long grass as well. She might be lying down. We just can't see her at this very moment. But there is little Tlalamba, and you can see how well that camouflage works. Now, as Taylor might have mentioned earlier, this is not the easiest place for a car, that's for sure, but we've managed to get into a spot where we can see Tlalamba. I think Thandi's just to the right behind that thick stuff there. Somewhere around there. Now, leopards are mostly solitary unless they've got cubs or are mating. They do come across each other from time to time, but they are mostly solitary creatures. Now, the reason for this, Colin, is that they are adapted to be that way. It is how they are most successful. They've also adapted to taking kills up trees, and it's difficult to share when you're up a tree. So, unlike lions that have evolved to become the only social cat, all other cat species are solitary as a general rule. And will spend most of their time, when not looking after young, by themselves. It is their best chance for survival. And Thandi is doing a fantastic job with this little one, with all the male leopard activity at the moment. Tlalamba, what are you up to? Where's your mom? Well, all the leopards are about. There's 4 leopards that we know about on Djuma this morning. Hosana, Tingana, Tumbi and Tlalamba. Those little ears. Listening carefully. Now, as Taylor and Herbie and them move away, they'll probably become a little bit more relaxed. So I think Thandi's just flopped down somewhere in this long grass. Now I'm just trying to see if there's any way I can possibly get down and get a better view, but not from here at the moment. The bank is too steep in front of me. There might be a chance from a little bit further to the east. I'm just also trying to make sure I know exactly where Thandi is before I move the vehicle. Thandi can be a little bit grumpy from time to time, and we don't like making leopards grumpy, so we might just sit here for a little bit until we know exactly where Mom is before we start moving the car. Yes, I have hit the jackpot, and thanks to everyone who's helped me. Aubrey, Taxon, James, and of course Taylor and Herbie and Senzo, who led us to the jackpot. So I'm sure Tlalamba was there she was right next to Mom, watching them as intently, but just a little bit lower in the grass, so they weren't able to see them from where they were. Those little ears. Listening intently. As I say, I don't want to move the vehicle too much till I know exactly where Thandi is. Now, there's a big fallacy that big cats train their babies to hunt. Cheetah are the only ones that really show that. So Nancy, Thandi is not going to train Tlalamba to hunt. All Tlalamba's hunting instincts are there. And when we watch her playing and jumping and pouncing, those hunting instincts are ingrained in her. There have been hundreds of thousands and millions of years of evolution taking place, and a leopard does not need to train a leopard cub how to hunt. So that's the whole thing. A leopard cub is born with all those instincts. So she's already probably made a lot of her first kills, caught little sort of probably the odd baby francolin, maybe some lizards, giant plated lizards, skinks, geckos, possibly a bird or two. And when Mom leaves her alone, she hones those skills by sneaking about and playing with herself, catching stuff. And then when Mom's there, she'll just attack Mom's tail, Mom's ears, Mom's body, and those are all practice. Those are her practicing the instincts that are already there. As I say, I can't see Mom at the moment. Just keeping a close look out. I'm looking for a little flick of an ear or the white flash of the tip of the tail. So we did see Mom as we were approaching. I lost comms again. Oh dear, I've pulled my whole comms out. That's why. Okay, well, we're going to send you across to the lady and who found it, of course, with Herbie and Senzo.
Oh, very cool. I'm so glad that Brent managed to get in there, because I was looking at that drainage system going, how on earth is he going to navigate through there? But Brent loves a challenge in a car, doesn't he? So he took the off-roading in his absolute stride. And, well, I don't know if I would have been able to have gotten in there. So I'm sure Thandi's around. She did just cross that drainage line and go a little bit further north, but I don't think it'll be too long before she comes back, and I'm hoping that they have a kill somewhere around there. It would make sense that they do, because now they've been in the same spot since yesterday morning, and there wouldn't be too much reason why they'd still be in exactly that same spot, unless there was perhaps something there that they are eating on. And Thandi did look particularly big. I don't know if anyone else agreed. She just looked quite staunch. And we've seen it with lions, we see it with leopards. As soon as they have a big meal, they blow up like balloons. Now, this is quite a cool little stump. Every time we drive on Inyala Road South, I always stop and have a look at it. And you can see it's been polished really, really nicely. But not by humans, by, well, animals. I'd imagine it was chopped off. Perhaps it was a tree that elephants had pushed over and they had to get a chainsaw to chop it all off, because you can see it was very, very smooth and cut very nicely. But and the rhinos, the hippos, the elephants, all sorts of things would have come through here and rubbed up against it over years and years and years, and eventually wearing it away, which is quite cool to see. Not an easy wood to polish down like that, but those animals do have very, very tough skin, and it's perfect here because there's lots of little mud wallows along the way for them to roll around in. It's a hot spot, particularly for buffalo, in fact, this little section here. And then, of course, it provides lots of little places for leopards and lions and other animals to sort of drink out of when there isn't a big buffalo occupying it. So that's quite cool. We're starting to make our way home now. We got a little bit of a way to walk, so best we get on it if we want to be back in time for breakfast. So we're basically heading westish. We're going to jump on an animal pathway now and sort of hug this little mud wallow. So here's one of the mud wallows I was telling you about. But very brown, very murky, not particularly nice. A couple of little terrapins in them, but always quite difficult to see when you're on bush walk, as they will pop on down and hide away. Now, just to try and think, sorry, we just need to keep moving because Herbie is a little bit way ahead of us. We don't want to get behind him in a thicket like this. So as we walk, cobalt animals that nest in the weirdest sort of places. Well, the ones that go into ground are quite creepy. I mean, anything like an African land snail shell might make a nice temporary home. Let's go this way, Cecil, so you can go underneath, otherwise you're not going to fit under that tree. And what else? I don't know, there's lots of different things. Scorpions make pretty cool burrows underneath rock crevices, or also burrowing straight down into the ground. The firefinches make interesting nests, which I just recently saw, how they tuck themselves away in a very, very thorny tree and make a nest out of grass, very much like the waxbills. So that's quite cool. And then quite nice to see owls. I don't know, I quite like the way that owls will nest on top. They will nest on top of hammerkorp nest. So you'll see Burroughs eagle owls on top, and then very upset hammerkorp sneaking through their sneaky little entrance every now and then. That's quite nice. Bagworms, I suppose, but they're not nesting. They collect a lot of different debris and stuff, and sort of make a little silk woven dress, if you will, out of, well, I suppose, depending on what they find. Some of them take long little sticks, and then they'll pupate like that too. So then often you'll find them just sort of stuck onto a tree. Just randomly you'll see sticks sticking off a branch. It doesn't look anything like it. And then they'll pupate in that, but they do move around with it too. I don't know, off the top of my head now I'm trying to think. Obviously when you're on bushwalk, sometimes it's difficult for your brain to work and think of things because you're constantly looking around. Your senses are heightened because just like we almost walk straight past Thandi, there could be a lion, there could be a leopard, there could be something else. So I'll have a think about that and maybe get back to you on some more cool things when we are on drive a little bit later this afternoon. Off we go. Hearing strange sounds in the bush. Oh, it's Herbie. That's why I was hearing strange noises. See, I lost Herbie because I wasn't concentrating very well. Right, off you go, back to Ralph to see what he's got planned for the rest of the morning.
More of a loop and then... Well, everyone, we're still just taking a little bit of a loop now from... We've left Chitwa Dam because we've checked it out from both sides. And so we just want to take small little loops around. I'm looking for all little roads that I haven't driven along. And, you know, we've seen some leopards in these trees here before. And so I'm just trying my luck in all different little spots. So that's what's happening now. We don't have a particular subject that we're looking at or that we're looking for. We're just looking for anything that can jump out of the bush at us. And I'm enjoying exploring this section of Chitwa because I've never been into these little parts of this area. So that's always exciting. And you know how leopards can hide, our lions can hide, everything can hide. So even if we're down at Chitwa and we're seeing what's down there, we think there's nothing around. Well, I tell you what, just literally 15, 20 meters away, there could be something very exciting hiding that we haven't seen. So just keep looking in all these little different spots and checking up the marulas. There might be a leopard lying there watching us driving around, thinking, what on earth are these idiots doing? I did see some of the impala running around up top here, so I wanted to come and see what they were up to. And they were rutting. They weren't being chased by anything, but you know, where there's food, there's predators. So, well, that's often what you need to do, isn't it? If you want to find a predator, go look where he might find himself something to eat. The big hippo track that's going through there. Lots of doves around. Lots of movement around this area, and nice and open as well. You generally find next to waterholes, it generally does get quite flat and trodden and grazed, because that's where the animals are going to be regularly moving through. Oxpeckers coming through, there's nests of them next to the dam as well. This is where I saw the impala up front here. Ooh, and there's a nice bull waterbuck. That's quite a nice little frame, that, with the arch of that. What is that? It looks like a jackalberry. He's sitting under the arch. You could get married under that, I'm sure. Maybe he's waiting for his wife. Well, I'm sure he'll be hoping to be getting married. That's quite a strange law that we have, that you need to get married under a roof. And I got married in the desert of Namibia. So what we did was we just literally built an arch like that, and we put some cotton material over the top of it, and well, we had a roof, so we got married. I didn't get married to a waterbuck, though. Or at least I won't tell my wife that. Oh, and here's some guinea fowl and impala. Yeah, that's an interesting law, that being under a roof. I don't know why you need to be married under a roof. I'm not sure if you have that law in the US or anywhere else. If anybody knows what the reasoning or the origins of having to being married under a roof is, please let us know. I'd like to know. And these lovely little breeding herd of impala here. Quite a few of them have got the oxpeckers on the backs. So the oxpeckers haven't had to move far from their nests next to the Chitwa Dam to be able to find food. It's a very clever place for them to be nesting, because all the animals that they're going to feed off of are coming straight to them. And they've also got those hippos that they can access the blood from on their bodies. Batlens, who is a new viewer, I would like to tell you that you are watching this 100% live from Djuma concession in the Greater Kruger National Park of South Africa. What you are seeing, and including me, is happening right now. There might be a delay of about 3 or 4 seconds, but that's just due to the internet or whatever it might be and the broadcast. But this is not pre-scripted, it is not pre-recorded. Everything that happens is happening as you see it. So these animals that are moving through here, that are busy grooming and cleaning themselves and probably off on their daily walk to go and find some food and having a jump around like that, is happening in real time. So I'm hoping that you'll continue watching if this is your first time, and you'll continue to see the amazing things that we try to find every day, morning and afternoon, depending where you are in the world. It might be different times, but we're out every morning and every afternoon and try to bring you all the action from here in the Kruger National Park. Oh, that oxpecker is having a full go at trying to find some ticks. Remember red-billed oxpeckers? They do a scissor-like motion. Now, I just want the viewers that are saying that you don't need to be married under a roof, I'm not saying that you're wrong, but just to check into that, because I never knew that existed either, and I thought that you could be married anywhere too. But when I went to be getting married, the people said that you had to be under some kind of roof. Now, maybe that is just a South African thing and a Namibian thing or a Southern African thing, but I would suggest that then means that it's possibly a British or European sort of regulation, because we were also a British colony at some stage, and Namibia was also a German colony, so there's a lot of European influence, but I'm sure that it might have something to do with that. Anyway, that's besides the point of wildlife. Toby, you're saying that you need to be married before 6 p.m., but not under a roof. You see, there's all sorts of strange little rules around getting married and around all sorts of things. Something that is a little bit different to the topic that we're talking about, but more related to nature, is that we've got the species called the hardy-dar here, the hardy-dar ibis. And much like in the UK or in Britain, where the swan is a very protected bird species because it is one of the subjects of the Queen. Now, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but apparently if you had to kill a swan or to injure a swan, it's like an attack on the royal family or on the Queen herself. So it is illegal to hurt a swan or do anything bad, so they're protected in that sense. And the same for us in South Africa with the hardy-dar. When the British were here, it was also declared a subject of the Queen, and so the law has not been changed. So we still have hardy-dars that are protected, even though in some areas they are literally almost vermin. Now I'm just spinning around because I've spotted a waterbuck with a very small little baby. Oops, and I just want to have a look as I spin around. I don't want to disturb her. I'll try not to, at least. And I'm hearing now those guinea fowl going off there. I'm going to just listen closely to them and see if they continue. But I want to see this waterbuck because it looks like a very young one that she's got. She's protecting it there. I might be mistaken, but let's just have a look. Now it's directly behind her, and that's a very good indication. I just want to show you that because that is indicative of a lot of antelope and zebra and other animals as well. Look, you can't see that little baby on the other side of her. And there's a very clever reason behind that, because when the babies are born, their legs are very long, their bodies are very small, but it's for that exact reason. So if a predator was looking through the bush now, it would see an adult. And if it was a leopard, it would think, oh, that's too big for me to hunt. But on the other side, there's a little baby hiding. You see that? Incredible, huh? Wonderful the way nature works. Hopefully it will show us itself, but Mommy is doing a very good job of hiding that baby on the other side of her. Very small little baby. So a lot of the antelope and the zebra and all of them do exactly what she does. It's very interesting. So let me just try and reposition that we can actually see it, and I can prove my point that there is indeed a baby there, because otherwise you're not going to believe me. Let's just move slowly through here, and then I can just prove my point that there is in fact a little baby there. Now, Mandini, you see there? I wasn't lying. There is a little baby there. Mandini, you're wondering around territories of waterbuck and if they need to fight to keep them. Well, they are rather territorial. The bulls will try and keep themselves a territory. Females, they will move as they feel or where they want to go. So it's down to the males that will establish a territory and try and attract some females in there and try and keep them in their area, enough time for them to mate with them, and then obviously pass on their genes. But yes, they are one of the territorial animals, and they do make little middens as well, and quite incredible. And lovely to see the little baby there now. I think she's realized that we're not a threat. Speaking of threats, that you see how she's looking in the direction of those guinea fowl? Because they are potentially alarm calling. So I'm going to loop around in a minute and go and see if those guinea fowl are actually looking at something. And while I do that and go and look to see if we can find what these guinea fowl potentially are shouting about, let's head on over to Brent, who I think is doing something similar to me.
Well, we know exactly where the leopards are. Unfortunately, they're in there, and not even I can get this car in there. We could get down, but we wouldn't get back up, which is not ideal. So we're going to leave the area now. Hopefully they move a bit closer towards the main river system during the day, and I'm sure someone will be here to have a look this evening. So fingers crossed. At the moment, right in those thickets there, and we can't get a vehicle in. We can't get close enough onto the top bank because the bank will collapse if we drive too close to it there. So they're down there. So the last part we saw little Tlalamba disappear was straight down into there. So we're going to now pick our way through this very thick area to get out and hopefully not get stuck on top of a branch or a log. So while I move along, as Louise says is on our four wheels, we're going to send you back to Taylor, who's on Shank's pony. Oh, that's a big stump. It's just got caught.
Yes, we're trying to get home as quick as we can, but we stopped to have a look at one last little thing, which is a tiny little spider. Oh, it's actually, I lie. It is not a tiny little spider. It's fairly big. Let me point it out. There we go. Run away! Don't worry, spider, we won't eat you. And it's obviously a little bit nervous now, dropping down. Now it's settled for the moment. Very pretty spider. One of the spiders in the orb web family, which there are many, many members. It's very pretty, though, with yellow, very dramatic legs. And legs seem to be sort of two different colours. A reddish brown and then sort of a creamish colour in between. Very cool. Very, very pretty, just sitting here. You can't even see the web at the moment with the light, hoping that perhaps a little moth, a fly, a midge, a little beetle comes wandering out on to the inflorescence of a grass and then gets tangled in its web. But just racing away. Now it's trying to hide away. It's just gone over here. See. Now we know that it is nervous because it's moved out of the center of its web and onto a bit of vegetation where it will have a lot more camouflage. Obviously we know that it's there, so it is fairly easy for us to spot, but very pretty. It's a pity we didn't see too many spider webs with dew covering them today. I reckon if we were here maybe about an hour and a half ago, we would have had a nice sighting of that web and that spider with lots of dew. Very cool, but we'll carry on. I don't know what else we're going to find. It's warming up now. It would have been a good time to start the bushwalk now and then carrying on. So we also were eating delicious fruit from the square raisin, which was amazing. I never tasted it. Well, no. Well, I bet there's going to be a few of you that are going to be annoyed with me now as I start to tell you what the things that we have for breakfast. But Jason was asking, what kind of things do we eat for breakfast? It depends. I'm just looking for more things to eat, little fruits and things to nibble on the way home. It kind of depends, Jason. We often have fruit and yogurt and honey, that's always around, from a full English breakfast, so bacon and eggs, tomato, to cereals, to oats. Anything really. If you don't want to do that, you can whip yourself up a smoothie. Camp is very, very, very keen on smoothies. So I suppose it all depends on what you feel like. But we do have chefs prepare us breakfast and dinner, which is nice. Absolutely fantastic. I have no idea. No, I don't have a breakfast prediction. Amanda, sadly, our chef, she's a little bit under the weather, so she's had a few days off. She's been booked off. She comes back soon, though. So we've had Johnson, our substitute chef, who has been, well, spoiling us. So I have absolutely no idea what's going to be on the menu. We don't know his style. You know, normally when you get to know someone, you can predict what's going on and what they're going to make for you. So no, I'm not even going to guess this morning because I haven't got a clue. I'm thinking maybe a smoothie. I think I'm going to make double cream or double thick yogurt and add blueberries and some ice. I think that's what I'm going to have for breakfast. I'm actually craving that. So that might be mine, maybe a little taster of whatever else is going, can't resist a bit of bacon, if you will. So yeah, I don't know. I haven't got a clue. I haven't decided just yet. I don't know. Herbie's pointing at something. I think there's a bird party here. But again, birding on the bushwalk camera is exceptionally difficult. Probably won't be putting them on screen for you. You can't have a little look because the birds have flown away because they've seen us. So anyways, off you go to Ralph. We'll try and do a little bit of birding later this afternoon.
Well, thank you, Taylor, and everybody. We did go and have a look at those guinea fowl. They seem to just be having a little bit of domestic tiffs between each other, so there was nothing serious going on there. But while we were driving around, we just saw another little breeding herd of impala, so we thought we'd stop and pop in with them. It hasn't been amazingly busy for us on the mammal front this morning, but we have had an amazing, well, except for the hippos and the impala, so we can't complain, but we did have wonderful experience with the birds, which I really enjoyed. And that's how it goes, huh? We have to see what the bush gives us, what it puts out every day. Maybe this afternoon I'll find us 5 leopards, who knows? But this morning, a little bit quiet on that front. Maybe we'll find some more lions. Oh, there's the top of my head. See that? Quite a few males here. And a lot of them now are starting to get very thick necks because you see what he's doing? He's rubbing that preorbital gland on the bushes there, marking his scent. But what they'll also do is they'll go and they'll pick a fight with a bush, and then they'll bash it and break it and really exercise their neck muscles. And that is then helping them get stronger for their sparring between each other. which is going to be important for establishing dominance, and then taking on a group of females, and then forgetting everything else and just keeping those females in check and chasing off the other males. So a very interesting time ahead for these impala. Quite dangerous time too, because they can also kill each other, but the leopards also enjoy it because they get to get up close with the impala without them knowing, because all they want to do is fight with each other. So much testosterone pumping through their blood, they don't care about anyone. Wisteria, I agree with you. I also love impala. They are really underrated, and they are like our bread and butter in the bush as mammals, because we can find impala almost every single day when we can't find much or anything else. And look at that red-billed oxpecker just catching a ride on the back. He's got a lovely set of horns, does this one. See how those ears flit backwards and forwards, always listening out. Okay, everyone, so as I said, from a wonderful morning of birding and relaxing next to Chitwa Dam with all of those hamakops doing very strange things, and the fish and the egrets and the saddle-billed stork and the hippos, for me, I'm always happy to do things like that. And I'm going to say goodbye for this morning, but I'm sure I'm going to see you again this afternoon. But the show does go on, and let's head you on over to Brent.
Well, we've moved out of that area. I'm 110% certain that Thandi and Tlalamba are just parking easy down in that little riverbed where we can't get into, unfortunately. So we're going to start heading back towards breakfast. Maybe we can see if we can find our heroes of the morning and give them a lift. Taylor and Herbie and Senzo, who did a sterling job finding Thandi on foot. She's not the easiest cat to find on foot. She can be very sneaky, likes to creep away. Hello, Pradeep, who's only 6 years old. Pradeep, the animals don't know it's Sunday. They treat every day exactly the same. So they are going to carry on doing what they would do if it was a Monday, or a Tuesday, or a Thursday, or a Saturday. Only human beings worry about what day of the week it is. Out here, they want to catch some food and to stay away from other dangerous animals. So Pradeep, they don't know it's Sunday. To them, it's just another beautiful day out in the African bush. And it has been full of spots this morning, and I'm hoping this afternoon's going to be the same, and we'll be able to get a better view of Thandi and Tlalamba, and hopefully Tingana and Hosana as well. That's the joy of a live African safari. We never know what we're going to find when we venture out of camp. Now, Wiem, I'm sure, is quite excited for breakfast, as am I. And it's going to be another wonderful day. Nice cool day for a change. And we will see you all again in a few short hours to see what big cats are around on the Sunset Safari. So from all of us at Safari Live, bonne nuit!